Okay, ruffles. Okay, ruffles is one interesting technique. It's like an age-old stuff, and I've been doing that on cakes, like starting from waves theme or ocean theme or underwater, like from non-wedding themes. From there on, it is just like there everywhere. There are different styles of ruffling. So I have some panels. These are just fondant, a little bit of CMC mixed on it, and then it's just been rolled out and cut. So I have here's like white and bleaching too much. Yeah, it's just that fondant panel. Okay. So I just have that, so I could just do it on the panels to show a few different styles of ruffles. Okay. So I'm just going to move these panels aside. To begin with some simple ruffles, I'll just start. I'll then take up one panel after the other to show how you can stick that around. Glue brush. So I'm going to use green, so on white, the same color as the one that I draped around the cake. It's just plain fondant or cling wrap and crepe. Hexagon, we are not doing. Okay, so first I'm just kneading the fondant. I'm just going to roll this up into a strip. So I'm just making a sausage. Let me just make a sausage and then I'm just going to roll this. I could maybe cut it into half also, but I'm just going to just work on getting a strip out of this. So because it is also okay to just have like a bigger sheet and then cut them out, but I prefer just working on strips, a longer strip made using a sausage that's been rolled up. So because anyway, I know I just need strips, right? At least cut that into half now, so I can just deal with not too long a strip. Don't want it too thin. So now I have two strips right here. Let me just cut this out to first show you how to ruffle. So the first one works with a toothpick. So simple toothpick like that, and then on a craft mat. The ball tool and the ruffling style for the peony petals, that is another style. But this is something that I really like. And just vertically divide this into two. So I have smaller strip. So in this one strip, let me just add some corn flour. We don't want it to be sticky. So I'm going to use a toothpick. Can you see it closely? And keep the toothpick not too in and not too less, not too much also, just about in here. You can see the height, not too much and not too little. It's about here. Okay. Now I'm just going to hold my finger and then go back and forth and pick the toothpick, place it a little, next to where I had finished ruffling, going back and forth. Pick the, so you can see how the waves just form. Okay, so I'm just going to place the toothpick, go back and forth and pick, and then see a wave just forms. You need corn flour underneath so it doesn't stick and then keeps moving. So I just show my finger how it moves. Place the toothpick just about where this ruffle is ended, right? I'll place a toothpick there, okay? And then I'll go back and forth with a good amount of pressure. When I do now, you can see 4 waves formed, right? So I'll keep doing that. Pick. So if I have to do it fast without telling how I'm doing, then it happens like that. I pick up the toothpick from where I had ruffled, keep moving back and forth until it waves up for me. Pressure, enough pressure so it just ruffles up. Okay. So you have these ruffles. Let me just place it on this white sheet and show. Okay, so the ruffles just around looks like this. Okay, so now if I have to panel, I'll just start sticking them on the top like that. Okay, and then I will have more layers to go on if I have to stick one below the other. So if I quickly keep doing more of it. So nobody really does the toothpick method these days because the ball tool and the peony petal kind of, that is pretty easy. So people prefer that. But then the quality of how the ruffle comes with a lot of movement is really good with the toothpick. And I like the toothpick one. I mean, anytime if there is ruffles that I have to do, I choose the toothpick method only. I'm also going to show the ball tool one. So the toothpick is sticking to the fondant, strip of fondant, then you will add corn flour. So you will stay there in that place until it just lifts up and gets the wave. And only then you will move to the next section. Until then, it is like back and forth with pressure. I'll just stick them out, and let me not try and finish the entire panel. Otherwise, it's like it's monotonous and repetitive if I'll be sitting down here and doing the same thing. I'll just show how to stick this one. So we have quite a few. Now, if it was cake, obviously you will have doubts. Now, it is easy that I stick it on a flat surface like that. But obviously, if it is a cake, now it is going to be like that. And then you are going to start sticking it. And once that is stuck well, like that, then obviously then the next layer will be below that. So there is nothing very complicated that this I'm going to show it like that on a flat surface. And if it is a cake, then cake will just be there and you're going to place them one below the other. Okay, so glue. Just a bit of glue, and then my first panel, I mean the first ruffle goes in there, and then some glue goes here and a little bit on the edge of that ruffle as well. I don't want that bottom part of this ruffle to be seen. Some more glue. Just try and manage and keep the distance between every row uniform. Now, when you have doubt of how will this one strip be entirely enough for the sides of the cake, you can break and do. I'm just going to cut a bit and then see now. Anyway, here this strip is like a bit short. Now say the shorter strip here. Now it is not enough, right? So what I will do, I will just pick up from the next one, and whatever is enough, I mean, whatever, how much ever I need, that much I will cut out. I will continue. So what I'm showing here is the continuation. What I mean right now is, see, that is how the ruffles are getting formed, right? Now there is a gap here. And when you do it on the cake also, there will be gaps, right? Because you can't have like a whole long strip to go around on the side. So, and that way just have an extra, I mean, from another whole new strip and stick that and then cut off the excess. So you can keep working on joining the bits. That doesn't matter. Let me see if we could finish off the line of the cam and show you the completed panels. But then you get the idea behind this, right? I'm just going to cut off here to make it neat. And this one bit, let me stick it here to at least make this row look complete. So that's how it will just keep going. Looks good. So ruffles having movement. You can just see from the sides how they look. Okay, so What other ways of ruffles could we do? Shall we try and see how the ball tool pattern looks like? We have the strips here. I'm still going to cut them into thinner strips. So for ball tool, I need a foam pad. See, now depending on the size of the ball that we use, the ruffles will change. Now, if I'm going to use a bigger ball tool, then it will only thin out for me. Now, if I use a smaller ball tool, I could get some more ruffles. For a ball tool, it is better to have thinner strips. So it's like the same peony petals thing. Are you able to see? Let me just first thin out the petal. It is like a little too thick for a ball tool. For toothpick, that thickness works. So I'm going to roll it a little bit more. So it's a bit thin. So I'm going to use the ball tool. It's a back and forth thing, right? Remember for peony how we did? And some corn flour. The waves are too random using the ball tool. Let me do one more, for which I'm going to make this thinner. Let me use a bit smaller ball tool, back and forth. So you can see the waves forming, but they're not as close as the toothpick one. Back and forth stay in a place. So make 4 such strips to see how they look if they are stuck on the panel. Just going back and forth. Obviously, all the ball tool, half on the foam pad, half on the edge of the strip, all that will remain. I'm not repeating that because I assume you watched the peony petals ruffling. So you check the ruffles here, which is like quite random, unlike the toothpick one. One more, this I just want to try without thinning it to see how it works with this ball tool. Back and forth. The bottom is a bit thick. And this also, let me finish without thinning it. So I'm getting the next panel. Start with the first one. A bit of glue on the bottom layer of that ruffle that was stuck, because you want this to also stick on that one and not just on the cake. These are quite flat. I'm just going to cut off these and then add another line. I'm just going to make this end a bit neat. So this is good too, but let me just keep that one and this one to compare. So this is the one that used the ball tool, and this is the one with toothpick. The same color, but just a little bit. I mean, it's not that, this is better than that, or it all depends on how you really want on your cake. There's obviously some random textures and stuffs are also good, right? So these two. So one more, which is like, you don't even have to ruffle. but we just can kind of do and make it pretty much random. We just want to show us the last style of ruffles. There are many different ways of doing that. You can just try and explore looking at different ruffles on the Pinterest. Just kind of roll, make it very thin, and just keep folding it and then building the ruffles. That is also one way of doing it. So when I have a sausage that I want to roll it out into a strip, if you're not observing how I'm doing it, let me just put it in words. So you don't do it like this, or also not properly perpendicular to the strip, but hold it at an angle like that. And as you roll, the strip will just keep moving. So it is like at an angle. It's not like this, right? And that way my strip will just go longer, also just wide enough to be like a ribbon for me. And so I will not waste on the length of the sausage that I have. So that way with the sausage, I will just have enough length to go about. So quite long, right? Now with this panel here, I just don't want to do the ruffling at all. I just want to keep pleating this as I work. I'm just going to start here, okay, and then I'm just going to, like a skirt, pleat this up like that, and then continue pleating as I go. This is quite random, and it has quite more movement than the toothpick one. And you can decide how close you want the pleats to go. Stop, not clear in this. Stop. Just want to show one in the top angle also. So glue is applied here, and we have to cover up that bottom pleat of the previous layer, right? Now start sticking, okay, and then keep pleating it. Just fold back, fold back. Is this clear to watch? They get to see how the pleating is happening. So I'm just bringing it back and folding it and creating a pleat myself. There was no toothpick or ball tool needed. Just like how your uniform skirts, the age-old uniform skirts look. It's a similar kind of like a tailoring pleat, just bringing it back and then sticking. This also looks good with a lot of movement. Let me show this, and I'll do 2 more rows so you will get a feel of how this one looks. Sides. Okay, so let me continue. I think I need some more strip. But obviously this one, because of pleating and how lesser area it covers for such a long strip, the toothpick or the ball tool wouldn't have needed that much fondant, right? So that also you need to just keep in mind. A little bit more, if I do, then you will actually get a feel of how this looks. So that'll be the third row. I'll just do fourth and fifth also with this strip, how much ever I get. Keep pleating, keep folding. I think I'll have enough for 1 more row. I'm done with this. Let me cut off the excess. Make this end a bit more neat. So it looks, so you focus on the ruffles and not on how uneven the bottom looks. It is a bit heavy for me to even hold and show. Okay. I think I have to just have a, this looks actually pretty, right? So what? So this is the one with a toothpick, and this is the one with pleats. But toothpick also I like, but then the pleated one I think is my favorite. It looks good. Yeah, and then I have the ball tool one at the bottom. All three. Okay, so doubts on, I'm going to read through. There are a few doubts there. Let me just clear up a bit. Okay. How the white panels are so firm? I said it was needed with the CMC and rolled, I think, the day before yesterday, and it is just lying out there. So I just wanted it firm so I could just work on it. Demo, so you were told hexagon demo dummy draping. The demo dummy draping is not too complicated. And if we have the time, I could just maybe get the dummy of the hexagon that we have to tell you it is more like a square. The technique is like a square. If you have doubts on how you cannot relate it to a square and then a hexagon, because it is all the sides put together exactly like a square, but then a square has 4 corners. A hexagon will have how many? 6 corners, and then its rest are all the same. And if you still have a doubt, Geetu, just let me know. From where to buy the folding brush? What is a folding brush? Which one was the folding brush that I used? Need to dry ruffles for some time before placing on the cake. Not necessary. If you just make and then start sticking, drying out, then maybe it will break as you go around it. So just make the ruffles the exact time that I had just done now. So much time is enough. We'll do hexagon cake demo. I don't think we will have time, Geetu, for that. But like I said, it is not too complicated at all. We'll focus on all the 99 things we have done and not focus on that one thing that was left. Hexagon dummy demo was not written in the website description, I think so. We could just go back to the website to just see what are all the committed things that is there as part. And I don't mind explaining stuffs. It is only that we may not have the time to include it. I want to focus more on the cake stuffs which are real and which are like extremely different from one thing to the other. And that is what I want to put it here to just crunch and see how much possible I can just include in the 2 days time. When like I said, if you have doubts and you're not able to relate to the square draping to the hexagon draping, I could explain that. Where are we on the questions? Need to dry the ruffles. Can we drape the cake with fondant and place the ruffles, or can we place it directly on the ganache cake? Placing it directly on the ganache cake is quite fine. There is nothing that technically I see that is wrong, except that in case you're going to do a green colored ruffle and there is a brown colored ganache, and there could be sometimes slight gaps that are seen in between. Like if you have to just leave out a little bit of gap and then the surface of the cake sees through in the gaps of the ruffles, then maybe it is suggested that we have the same color fondant draped on a cake and then do the same colored ruffle. So sometimes if you have to do an ombre shade and all, obviously there will be difference of color between the one that is draped and the ruffles that we are doing. So that way, it is just a call of whether you're going to be too careful to not show any gap at all when you're going to ruffle on the, manual really works. Okay, this one, that pleated one, Aarti. Yeah, I like that too. There is a lot of movement, but that's too heavy. It's going to eat up a lot of fondant as well. So like I said, the ganache cake, to keep the ruffles directly on the ganache cake, just make sure you're not giving out gaps and the ganache is not seen through, and that way it should be quite fine. Pleated one won't fall because of weight, ma'am. Is there any chance that it will fall? It may not fall because we are going to keep building, and the ruffles on the bottom is going to carry the height of the ruffles on the top. But you just need to make sure it is stuck well. And if it is not stuck well, if the glue is not enough, then it may slide. The brush used to brush corn flour, that is a blush makeup brush. Cheek or your face. Health and glow. Can we add taurus powder in fondant to get hard ruffles? You don't need hard ruffles, because if ruffles are going to go on the outside of the cake and to cut through, you don't want it hard. Fondant works quite fine because it's just plain fondant that I use and it works fine. You don't want to make it hard. Ruffle doubts? It's 2. I think we should break for lunch and then I'll catch you up. Couple more techniques are there, but we'll do that after lunch. We'll take a 45-minute break and catch up at 2:50. In case there is a 10-minute more break or something, and by 3, I think 3 will be like too much. We'll catch up at 2:50. Okay. Yeah, lunch break now.